Have you ever stopped to think about what's actually happening inside your home's heating and cooling system? It's so much more than just a box that hums to life every now and then. As we're about to see, there's a constant, invisible battle being fought against forces that are basically designed to make it fail. Okay, let's set the scene. You know the one. It's either the absolute hottest day of the summer, or it's that one night where the temperature just plummets. You wake up and something just feels off. The air is thick, the usual hum is gone, and you realize your comfort system is completely dead. It's like something out of a horror movie for homeowners, isn't it? The furnace just gives up when it's freezing, or the AC decides to take a permanent vacation in July. It feels like a cosmic joke, like just the worst luck. But what if I told you luck has almost nothing to do with it? Yeah, that's right. The truth is, your HVA system is fighting a war every single day. It's under attack from your local weather, the way your house is built, even the very air you're breathing. And that breakdown, that's not a sudden failure. It's the final shot fired in a very long battle. So, to get a real grip on this, we're going to zoom in and look at a case study. We're headed to Cicero, Illinois. It's a town that really perfectly illustrates the unique pressures our home systems are constantly under. Now, why Cicero? Well, by digging into the specific challenges this one town faces, we're actually going to uncover a story that applies to pretty much everyone, no matter where you live. It's the key to understanding why our heaters and air conditioners fail. Let's see how this perfect storm really brews. All right, first thing on the list, the weather. Cicero is right near Lake Michigan, and that creates these wild, dramatic swings. We're talking sticky summer humidity that can hit 70%. Your AC has to work like crazy just to pull all that moisture out of the air. Then, in the winter, the temperatures can just nosedive below zero, which puts an incredible amount of stress on the furnace. Okay, factor number 2, the houses themselves. A lot of the homes in this area, they're older, built between, say, 1920 and 1950. They look solid, they're brick, but here's the catch. They were built with hardly any insulation. So all that nice cool or warm air you're paying for, it's just leaking right out, which means the HVAC system has to run constantly just to keep up. And that brings us to the third piece of the puzzle, the air. Cicero's close to a lot of industry, and that means the air itself is filled with more pollutants, more tiny particles. This isn't just about breathing it in. It's a huge problem for your equipment. All that gunk gets sucked in, clogs up the filters, and just coats the internal parts, basically choking the life and the efficiency right out of the system. So you see what's happening here? You put all three of those things together, and you've got a recipe for disaster. You've got the humidity making the AC work overtime, you've got the leaky, poorly insulated houses making the furnace run nonstop, and you have the dirty air making both of them work way harder than they should. It's this triple threat that just absolutely shreds the components over time. Okay, so we've seen the battlefield. Now let's look at the actual casualties. How exactly do these big picture problems lead to specific parts breaking down? So this is where it all connects. See that high humidity and those dirty coils we talked about? Well, that combo restricts airflow, and it can cause the evaporator coil to literally freeze into a solid block of ice. And the leaky ducts in those old brick homes? That's why you have one room that's an icebox and another that's a sauna. And the extreme cold snaps? They put so much thermal stress on the furnace that essential parts, like the igniters and heat exchangers, can physically crack. And that right there is the key takeaway. A furnace doesn't just die one day. It's a chain reaction. It starts with something small, like a clogged filter. That leads to a frozen coil, which then puts a huge strain on the compressor until, boom, catastrophic failure. It's really a slow-motion disaster playing out inside your walls. So, okay, the worst has happened. Your system is dead. And now you're staring at this massive and usually pretty expensive question. Do I try to fix this thing again? Or is it time to bite the bullet and replace the whole system? Believe it or not, there's a simple number that can help you make this call. It's your secret weapon for taking the stress and the panic out of the decision. Let me show you what I mean. It's a really handy rule of thumb called the $5,000 rule. It's super simple. You just take how old your system is in years, and you multiply that by what the repair is going to cost. If that final number is over $5,000, then replacing it is probably the much smarter long-term financial play. Let's run through a real-world example. Say you have a 15-year-old furnace, and it needs a $400 repair. Okay, so you take 15 years, multiply it by $400, and you get $6,000. Since that's way over the $5,000 mark, The rule is telling you pretty clearly sinking more cash into this old unit is probably not a great investment. And this chart really spells out the why behind that rule. Think about it. Repairing an old system is usually just a temporary fix, like putting a Band-Aid on a much bigger problem. You're fixing one part, but the rest of the system is still old with no warranty. But when you replace it, you get a long-term fix, a brand new warranty, sometimes up to 10 years, and as a huge bonus, your utility bills will likely drop thanks to the new high-efficiency models. You're basically choosing between a short-term gamble and long-term peace of mind. All right, so let's zoom back out. What's the big lesson we can pull from Cicero's story? How do we take all this and actually apply it to win that hidden battle that's happening inside our own homes? It really boils down to three key things. First, just be aware. Know your enemy. Do you live in a really humid climate? Is your house older and a bit drafty? Understand the specific challenges your system is facing every day. Second, be proactive. That yearly maintenance check, it's not just a sales pitch. It's how a professional can spot those little problems before they snowball into a massive, expensive emergency. And third, be smart. When a breakdown eventually happens, and it might, use a simple tool like that $5,000 rule to make a decision based on logic, not on late-night panic. When you get right down to it, this is all about shifting your perspective. It's about moving away from that reactive state of panic when something breaks and moving toward a proactive state of just being aware of the health of your home's most important system. So that's the question I want to leave you with. Take a second and really think about your own home. What is your comfort system fighting against day in and day out? Is it extreme heat? Is it an old, leaky house? The local air quality? Because once you understand the enemy, that's the very first step to actually winning the battle.